Sup lads, Flux here, bringing you guys an offensive Viper smoke guide to the map Split. This is a beginner's guide, meaning that most of the lineups will be fairly straightforward, no running or jumping required, and I will do my best to explain each smoke, how to throw it, and why the smoke is useful in and of itself. That being said, I included a little bit of extra stuff in here, so even if you're not a new player, you may end up benefiting from this guide regardless. If you're having troubles lining up the smokes, I included some images in the description to help you guys out if my explanation wasn't sufficient. Let's get into it. Alright fellas, so Heaven Walkway and Heaven Window on A-Site smoke. Saved the hardest for first. Shout out to Elon Musk for inventing this one. And yeah, let's get into it. So we got a skyscraper there and we got a building here. There's a triangle on this skyscraper. You want the base of the triangle to line up with the top of that building. So like this, you see, I create one continuous line with the top of the building and the triangle formed by the skyscraper. Afterwards, what you want to do is the angled portion of the triangle right there, you want that to intersect this flat edge of the building like so. So just like that, I maintained the continuous line, but I've also have the angled line intersecting the corner of this building like so. You'll notice that the corner of the building is slightly flat, it isn't perfectly a corner. Afterwards, you see these streaks on the skyscraper. You want to go to the tip of the second streak, so that's 1, this would be 2. I want to go to the tip of the second streak and then angle up until my crosshair is touching midway through that third streak. After that, once you bust out your poison wall, you should notice on your minimap that the blue line extends all the way up into the Heaven Window, and at that point you know that you can fire it and you should be good to go. So this is just proof of concept right here that the shit did work. So again, smokes the walkway up into heaven, and it also smokes the Heaven Window like so. Super useful smoke when you're exploding onto A-Site. That smoke is also nicely complemented with a toxic orb throw. So what you can do is actually jump into this corner like so. Look up towards this apartment complex looking thing along this line. So this is the complex, this line. And you want to just aim at the very top of the complex, maybe 1 or 2 pixels over to the right, and throw the toxic orb. It should land on the intersection where the black and white tiles meet, roughly right there. And the orb actually smokes off CT, and there's actually no gap whatsoever, so you're actually shorter than that gap. If you jump, you'll get fucking knocked out, but like, don't jump. And yeah, so this entire smoke set is super useful. Even if you just use that smoke alone, it cuts off one of the tricky angles because it cuts off the cubby as well as the CT door itself. And alternatively, if you have enough smoke, or I guess venom left, you can activate both of them. So they complement each other really well. You can smoke off the Heaven Walkway like so, walk up for free, check that one angle. And again, this is the only other angle you really need to check. You can pre-fire it, and at that point, you're already out on site, safely and effectively planting the bomb. Again, you gotta manage your venom for this, but it's still super effective. So hypothetically, let's say you know that there's some shitter camping under the balcony, or let's just say you're too fucking lazy to check. You can actually just throw a snake bite under there by aiming at that tree on this balcony right under the apartment complex. Put your crosshair at the tip of the tree, and you can just send a snake bite right in there. This will drive out the kid who's camping in there, or again, just clear the angle for you. They can't actually stand in here. They have to go up to the 4th tile, meaning that they're going to be out in the open, so you get a free shot on them. And this essentially eliminates one angle that you need to check. And it's also super convenient to combine with the other 2 smokes, whether it be the CT smoke or the fog wall. You can single-handedly take A-Site using this set of smokes and snake bites. But just one thing to keep in mind is that if they do have a Sage, she will wall you in right here, and then you're just kind of wasting your own fucking time. So aside from that, if there's no Sage, you can peek each angle 1 by 1, win the aim duel, and get a free bomb plant down every single time. Alright fellas, for the standard B-wall, what you want to do, come over to these barrels and wedge yourself in the corner right there. Then, once you're cozy, look up towards the skyscrapers right there, the one with the nub thing, and you just want to aim above the nub, roughly at the center of it, maybe 1 pixel over to the right or so, and just toss it. Given that your crosshair is at any point above the skyscraper, the smoke will land, so even a total monkey can do this one. And if done properly, this should actually wall off Heaven, and it walls off CT, meaning that you can't actually get peeked, and you get a free plant off. So again, Heaven can't see you given that you hug the wall, and CT can't actually peek you, so you get a free plant. If the guy in CT does get a little antsy and decides to peek you, he won't actually see anything unless he's fully through the wall, which gives your team a chance to actually defend you and kill him, given that they're not actually baiting the fuck out of you. So again, super easy, useful smoke. You can also combine this smoke with a snake bite, which will actually help you clear out the site fully before you commit to a plant. So again, same spot in the barrels, same skyscraper, but instead of the middle nub, you just want to go over to the left corner like so. So see this corner that I'm outlining? Basically throw it in the corner. It's again also super forgiving. You just send the snake bite over right after you send the wall. Let your teammates push, clear that shit out, because again, you're lurking, not baiting. Ricochet is off that, clears out this back angle, meaning that you realistically don't have that many angles to check. To my knowledge, there's really only 2 spots where they can be baiting, corner-esque spots. So you snake bite the one, which means he's either going to have his dick in his hands right there, and the only other spot you need to check is here and here, which are both easily pre-fireable. Heaven can't see you because there's a wall up. Boom, free plant. Alternatively, if you're too big of a fuck up to actually throw the smoke from the corner like so, you can wedge yourself into this box and look up at these nubs on the roof. So if you aim at the second nub like so, literally right there, that's the first one, that's the second one, aim at the second nub, you can throw an identical smoke, but it may actually be slightly stronger depending on your relative skill level. So once you throw the smoke, it's slightly closer to heaven, meaning that you'll actually be able to peek heaven. This is actually a blessing and a curse, because if you have good aim, you can just clown on some kids, but if you're a little insecure like me, that's no bueno. So I developed a second trick for this. You can actually get a toxic orb, exact same spot, but instead of the first nub, you're actually looking between the third and fourth nubs, like so, right between them along the roof. You just click and you toss it, super easy, reliable smoke, and this actually lets you smoke off of heaven. This combination is actually really big brain because it lets you manipulate angles and lines of sight on the fly, and it lets you basically choose what angles exist on the site. You don't like heaven? Fuck it, it's smoked. You don't like CT? Fuck it, it's smoked. Oh, you want to check heaven? Okay, cool. Let's bring down the smokes, have a look, bring the smokes back. So, some 400 IQ shit, insanely strong sets of lineups. Again, let you manipulate the site on the fly, and it lets you choose which aim duels and angles you can actually take. So again, I highly recommend everybody learn these 2 setups, and yeah, on to the next. For the supporting a smoke, instead of getting in front of the barrels like we did earlier, we actually get up behind the barrels into the corner like so, and afterwards you don't aim at the little skyscraper, you aim at the big skyscraper, roughly on the skinny line in the center of it, like so. You can aim at any point on the skinny line given that you're roughly in the center, and you can feel free to fire away. This smoke is a supporting smoke, meaning that you can't capitalize too much off of this, but your A players will be able to make use of it. And again, this is super useful when taking mid and if you're trying to go for an A split. So again, heaven is completely smoked off, and that lets your team actually walk into a rope room. You can pre-fire the rope, and then after you see nobody, pre-fire the opposite corner. That being said, this is a supporting smoke since you can't make too good use of it. When you walk out here, you're essentially peeking 3 angles at once. You can kind of clear it out, but not overly effectively, and you more than likely will get punished. So this smoke greatly benefits your teammate peeking out of sewers. So again, you gotta wait for your teammate to be in position. Your teammate needs to wait for you to toss the smoke, and then your teammate can clear out the angle one by one. So he can peek that, pre-fire, nothing, nothing. This corner, nothing, and you're free to take mid. While you yourself, you can just come in, peek, make sure there's nobody there, and at that point, you're good to go. So again, this is a supporting smoke. You may not be able to fully capitalize off of it, but it is invaluable to your teammates. Last and final smoke, the supporting B smoke. You want to get into the corner coming out of spawn, the very first corner off to your right, and you want to aim up at this steel beam. Any point on the steel beam works, but I prefer the center, and you want to aim above the rectangle that's behind it, otherwise you won't be able to actually send it into mid. So make sure you line it up with the steel beam and that you're higher than the rectangle, and you can feel free to fire. Since you're super far away from mid when you do throw this smoke, I personally like to use it when I'm lurking on A, and then my teammates who are making a B play make use of this. So again, if you throw the smoke properly, it will just wall off rope room, and again, there could be a dude hiding in this corner right here, but a couple of pre-fires should do the trick, and while you're clearing that out, you can't actually be seen from heaven. So again, let's say hypothetically you're pushing up from here, pre-fire this corner, and clear out each angle one by one. So again, super useful. Can only peek one angle at a time, so you more than likely will win the aim duels. Again, this is a supporting smoke, so you yourself may not be able to make use of this 100% of the time, but it is invaluable to your teammates who are trying to gain mid control and maybe split up onto the B site. So yeah, fellas, that concludes the tutorial. I'm going to be adding some pictures of some of the lineups in the description in case I didn't describe it properly or you guys want a better, more concrete visual. That being said, if this helped you out, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you thought of the video. And again, if you want to see an intermediate or advanced guide to offensive Viper smokes on Split, let me know. Or if you want to see more stuff like this before the other maps, I'm more than happy to make them. So yeah, that being said, let me know if you want to see that, and my name is Flux. Thank you all for watching.